What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? Share this live out. Share this live out. With at least 5 people comment done when you're finished. Look, I want to help you win in 2024. It's the year about championships. It's the year of championships. I want to help you win. So we're going to get it live in a second. Send a request to come up and build. We want to build. I want to help you win. I want to know, what do you need help with? I got resources. How can I utilize my resources to help you? How can I utilize my programs to help you? How can I utilize the tools that I have to help you? I want to help you win 2024. This is the year of championships. All right. Send this request. Well, send this live out to guests coming through. Very special guest coming through. Some of y'all may know her. And if you don't, you're going to get to know her today.
Hey!
What's up? How you doing? Uh-oh, switched it up on me. You switched it up on me. Uh-oh. Look,
You know, I be switching it up always.
You be slaying. I'm gonna snap it up and clap it up. Snap it up and clap it up, baby. You be doing that thing. I tell you, like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna always be transparent and vulnerable with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a person that inspires me. You inspire me because you are you. Like the way that you're operating, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like you're doing something out of your natural alignment. It feels in alignment. What it does for me, it makes me feel like my tribe is there.
Yes. Come on.
People that I need in my life is here. And sometimes we get caught up, right? We get caught up with that. But I had to earn the right to be this person, to find and create a relationship with a person like you. And it's the same thing for you, right? In order for you to get to where you at right now, you had to become that person. You had to create that environment. And then now, look, you are bringing in like so much goodness into this brand new year. The podcast is giving is so amazing right now. Numbers are going up.
Yeah.
Great things are happening. Once again, snap it up, clap it up for yourself, Queen.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I'm grateful and I'm honored. And it's, you know, like attracts like, and it's no wonder often what you see in me, because often what we see in others is what we know of ourselves. So clearly we are reflections, which I think is beautiful. And I think that the way that you are passionate about really helping people get through their stuff, you know, like, and I'm so excited you came on the podcast and shared so much nuggets. And there's one thing that you shared that was really profound for me. And I didn't know that it was as profound until because, you know, sometimes when you're in it, I'm not thinking about the next thing to say. I'm really there with you. And so afterwards, when it's done, I'm thinking about what was said. And so what I love is that inside of us having a conversation, your perspective is so powerful. And that's one thing that I love about you, Sean, is that your perspective is always in a way of like, how can I help you win? How can I win? How can you get over and outside of your circumstance or your situation? So I love what you're doing. I love what you're up to. And I it's just no wonder why, you know, God is blessing you the way God is blessing you.
Right. Absolutely love that. And I thank you for allowing us to create that reality where we can come together and just pretty much help other people and help ourselves. That was the first time I had a real intimate conversation with you since the first time I met you, which was great.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love this because I want to take it to another level, right? See, now, the thing that I realized about this whole life, this is about beautiful experiences.
Yeah.
How do we create these beautiful experiences? I remember you said something that was so profound. Forgot who you were talking to, but I knew that you weren't settling for just any old regular Joe Smoke. You have to meet these requirements. And the thing about it is most people settle for the things that come to them. So then they look around and they realize, okay, I don't have what I truly want, but everything you need is right inside of you already. So I want to talk about being able to leverage what we have to get to where we want to be, because this is how I look at it, right? We all know what we want. Like, we all know what we want. Most people don't. Okay, let me rephrase that. Some people know what they want. Some people don't, right? Cool. But deep inside, you know what you want. Yes. I know that everybody knows what they want deep inside. You just may not know how to attract it or acquire it. So, cool. This is what I like to look at. I like to look at, you have an idea of what you want. You know where you're at. So now you just need to find out what you need to fill in that gap, right? So the biggest thing, the biggest component is, what am I doing? Right? Like, what am I doing?
Mm.
Some people say, hey, look, I want to have a relationship. I want to find my husband. I want to find my wife. And the reality of it is, people say, I want to do this, do that, but they got to earn the right to be the person first.
Yes.
Like, you can't want your husband without being a wife first.
Ooh, say
You
that.
can't want your wife without being a husband first.
Yes.
People think that you're going to be able to assume the character once that thing starts to take place. Like, for example, inside the workplace, I want to raise, and once I get the raise, then I'm going to do the work. But the whole time, you're being a person that shows up 5 minutes before work, or you show up late. You're being a person that leaves the minute the clock hits 5 o'clock and you're out of there. Like, you can't be the person that wants to raise, but you come to work on time and you leave on time. You got to be the person that comes ahead of time and you stay late. So I want you to chime in on just the fact of being the person before you can get that thing or that outcome that you truly want.
Yes. Oh man, that's the most important, right? Because that's the thing too. I feel like sometimes when you get that thing before you become that person, you lose the thing. Like, if you don't become the person that can sustain it, you will fumble it. If you don't become the person that knows that you're worthy of it, you will fumble it. If you don't become the person that has actually worked to sustain it and the discipline to keep it, you will fumble it. And so I love that, because it's so important to talk about who we are being and how we are showing up, in order to really, like, not just get, but keep, grow, scaled, whatever it is that we're most excited about, whether that be love, whether that be business, whether that be family, like whatever it is that you're excited about exponentially expounding upon inside of your life really comes down to the way that you think, see, view yourself.
Absolutely love that. So if you could give advice to anybody, because sometimes people just, we give advice, but sometimes unsolicited. Let's just say somebody wants this advice. They're searching for it online. And they want to find, or they believe that there's a perfect person for them, right? What type of advice would you give that person so that way they can attract that perfect person?
Number one, in order, are you the perfect person? It really comes back to like self, right? So well, realistically speaking, we attract everything, right? But are you putting yourself in a position where you've worked on yourself enough mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, and energetically to where you have the ability to choose who it is that you want? When you get these offers from whoever it is that you're excited about, are these the type of men or women that you actually desire to be with? Or are you getting people that you don't want at all? And if you're getting a bunch of people that you would never want to be with and no one that you actually want is paying you attention, I really challenge you to challenge yourself to look in the mirror. What parts of you need to be refined? What parts of you need to be, assessed, need to be reflected upon, and to really decide, like, hey, am I putting the energy out there of what it is that I believe that I deserve, or am I not? So I think that number one, you've got to have self-awareness enough to know who you are. When you know who you are, you then can identify what you want. When you know what you want, you only move in alignment with that. A lot of us are settling, because we want something instead of what's best. We have warm body syndrome, right? They would rather have someone laying next to them at night than actually having an aligned partner, because they don't want to be alone and they don't want to be patient in the process. So I think that when you really and truly know who you are, you know what you want, and you only move in alignment with that, and you continue to develop yourself, you'll attract it. It just comes in. It just happens. It flows, and you get to choose instead of you taking, last choice or whatever.
Right. Like, see, that's the issue, right? A lot of women, and this goes for guys too, but being that I'm a guy, I talk about it on this side, so that way, it's a little controversial. So a lot of women, they settle for the guy that comes to them. When they settle for the guy that comes to them, they complain about the guy and point fingers and blame at the guy, when the blame should be where? Internally. Because you chose that person.
Yeah.
You decided, you said, hey, look, I'm a woman and I'm going to be traditional.
Yeah.
No, wait, look, this is going to rub somebody the wrong way. I'm just letting y'all know right now. You say, I'm going to be traditional and I'm going to let the guys come to me. The issue with that is the most traditional man is probably not going to come to you. In this society, he's probably not going to come up to you. You know who is going to come up to you? The modern day man. The man in this time is going to come up to you. Who is usually that person? That's the person with the confidence. That's usually the person that, hey, if you tell me no, that means next opportunity. Hey, I'm talking to you, her, and everybody else in the party. I don't care. I'm just looking to get some numbers, right? And then the other thing are contractual. Love is contractual. So now when we're talking about finding that perfect person, or if that perfect person exists, or if you're settling for other people, the common denominator in it all is me, or that person, right? So we can't create that person in our mind and have them show up like this, right?
Right.
We have to actually earn the right to have the experience to be able to be with that person. So I always ask this question. I say, are we meant to be with multiple people? And I always get an answer. But I want you to just tap in on this. Are we meant to be with multiple people?
Like throughout our lifetime, or you mean inside of monogamy? You mean inside of marriage? You mean
Look,
inside of...
I'm gonna leave it vague that way. And I want everybody else to answer in the chat first. Are you meant to be with multiple people? Put the answer in the chat.
Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. What are you meant to be with multiple people?
I want to know, are we meant to be with multiple people? Let me know. The first inclination, right? People go with more than one people at more than one person at a time, or like, well, what do you mean? I don't give it away. I just give the question. You have to internalize that
That's
because
crazy. Someone said it's different for men and women. I disagree.
who said that? Go ahead. I'll break it down.
This
Break it down.
industry's entertainment said it's different for men and women. I don't think it's different. I think different people want different things. I think this is why it's so important to identify who are you, what is it that you want, and to only move in alignment with that. I also think that we live in a society where someone said character development. Okay. We live in a society where marriage, monogamy, has been taught to us since we were children, especially more so that agenda pushed onto women than it is to men, right? So if you think about it, if our whole lives we were taught you need to sleep with 100 people, be intimate with 100 people by the time you're 35, or you'll never be successful, then that's what we would be shooting for, right? So we have to really take ourselves outside of the indoctrination that's happening every single day, of the expectation of the family that has been placed onto us, and really ask ourselves, what do I want? When I look in the mirror, what do I want? So is it okay to be with multiple people if that's your thing? And I mean, I don't really understand it, to be honest. I don't understand polygamy, because I start thinking about, different people coming together to create an empire, to have more children. That's the thought that I have of it. But then I wonder, how is that for the kids? I don't understand it. So I can't speak on something that I don't understand. I just know for me, inside of marriage, I don't know what 15, 20 years of marriage looks like, because I've never had it. I don't know that I could say I want to be monogamous for the rest of my life. Yeah, I desire that. But what happens if I get into it and I'm like, you know what? I really want to try something different in 20 years. Would that be so bad? I don't know. So I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. And I don't think that it's a yes or no answer. What do you think?
See, I love that, because you're breaking down to what we call principles. See, the principle of it is it workable or non-workable? Now, once again, love is contractual. So two people get into a relationship and then they say to themselves or to each other and say, hey, look, let's have an open relationship where we can see other people. It doesn't make it right or wrong, because the next couple says, hey, look, we're just with each other, whether it's good or bad, whether we get upset or not, or whether we are tired of each other or not. It doesn't make it wrong. There isn't any right or wrong. It's just workable and non-workable. So
Yeah.
most people forget that, and they start to think that love is just one way. So they follow this one path of conditioning, but not realizing that we're trained to be for what's against us, and we're against what's for us. And you can't recognize that without doing development, right?
Yeah.
So when I ask the question and I say, hey, look, are we meant to be with multiple people? The answer is a resounding yes. I didn't specify anything. I just said, are we meant to be with multiple people? The truth of the matter is, when it comes to relationships, right? Romantic. Now, if you're in a romantic relationship right now, You probably were in a romantic relationship maybe 2, 3 years prior. Are you the same person right now that you were then? Probably not. Chances are you're a better version today. I will hope that you're a better version today. Chances are you're a better version. And the reason why is because you had to go through those challenges. Those challenges help make you who you are. It helped allow you to discover what you did like, what you didn't like. It helped allow you to discover what type of experiences would you like to have? Who would you like to be partnered with? And let's be real. A lot of us went into this idea about the person that we wanted, and then we changed our mind about who we wanted, right? So now to your point, if I got into a relationship in a marriage, and now I'm married for 10 years and I realize, damn, this is not really what I want. And now I'm stuck inside of this marriage because I'm conditioned to believe that, hey, look, we got to work it out. And if it doesn't work, I'm wrong for breaking up, or I'm wrong for splitting up, right? So I want everybody to get comfortable with understanding it's not a one size fit all type of thing. Your relationships are either workable or non-workable, but you have to understand the root of a relationship. I always talk about this, Queen. I say you have to understand tools, right? Most people don't understand tools. Tools are meant to be put in action. Any tool that's out of action yields limited results. Any tool that is in action, or acting in its purpose, yields powerful results. So the same way why people have low income, they have low happy relationships, low emotional relationships, I would say, right? Low happiness when it comes to relationships, because it's all oneness. It's all one thing. The way you do one thing is most likely the way you do everything. So I can tell a person's finances by the behavior, right? Because it's all about habits. You can make $1 million, but if you lose $1 million, or if you spend $1 million, then you're just as worse off as somebody who didn't make $1 million. Right. So when it comes to relationships, what have you found that has been workable for you now that wasn't workable for you then?
I feel like inside of my relationships, you mean platonic or romantic?
It could be
or both?
Either or, because it doesn't matter.
I think for me, one of the things that I just highly value inside of all of my friendships is openness and honesty, transparency, right? And also understanding. I think what's most important is understanding a come from, right? So you have to know that if you really rock with me, you know my heart. You know that I care about you. You know that I love you. And you know that anything that I have to say is not to hurt you, but it's because my vantage point and your vantage point are completely different. And I'm trying to share with you my opinion. So if that hurts you inside of the way that I deliver it, or if it hurts you inside of the way that I express it, that's not my intention. But I need you to know that my come from, my heart is that I love you. And so inside of all of my relationships, platonic and romantic, don't assume the worst about me, because that is the easiest and the fastest way to get exiled out of my life. Like, I don't want to have to defend my character. In fact, you can't come into my life and be a part of my life if you're constantly and consistently trying to make me out to be the villain, because I'm not here to defend myself. I'm here to be. And if you can't operate inside of your being while I'm being, then it's probably just a misalignment. And that's okay. It doesn't make you or I a wrong person. It just means we're not supposed to be together. Like, somebody could be a really good person or a great person. That doesn't mean that they're good or great for you. And so for me, I think that, some of the principalities inside of any relationship that I have, platonic or romantic, is number one, openness, honesty, transparency. I highly value, just tell me the truth and let me be an adult about it. You don't have to protect my feelings. You don't have to, just give it to me the real way. Next would be, I have this thing called Vault Life with anyone that is important inside of my life. And Vault Life means whatever goes into the vault does not come out of the vault. Like, if I told you this, and not even because it's like, oh, we're talking about other people. It's not that. It's if I'm sharing a personal experience, if it's where I live, if it's my studio, my podcast studio space, if it's whatever it is, if they want an answer, tell them to ask me. And that's how my people operate. Like, I don't know nothing about that. Like, I ain't seen nothing, I ain't heard nothing, I don't know nothing. Like, that's kind of just how we operate. So there's that aspect of things. And then I would say, so Vault Life, openness, honesty, and then communication. I feel like most relationships go south because of the inability to communicate. And on top of that, it's funny, I see Derek on here. I hope you're still on here. He talks a lot about resolve, right? So it's not just enough to express how you feel and what you think, but also how are you digesting the information that you're receiving? How are you able to resolve the problem that you're having with that person? Do you love them enough to not raise your voice? Do you love them enough to not disrespect them? Do you love them enough to not call them out of their name? Right. And so when you have those, like, you know, there are principles inside of relationships. When you have those things, I think that that's the key to all things great, to be honest. But that again goes back to know who you are,
Right.
know what you want, and don't move out of alignment with that, but also be integrity in yourself in a way where it's okay to grow and change.
Right. And once again, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about being workable or non-workable. So when I'm taking down these notes, I'm just listening, right? There's two factors that most people only see half of it, right? They see the communication side. You could ask anybody right now. In fact, let's ask in the chat. If you're a great communicator, put a 1 in the chat. If you're a subpar communicator, put a 2 in the chat. And look, just don't be having us up here looking at each other, talking like we want to build. This is about creating a community full of love, connectivity, and financial prosperity. So the only way that we're going to be able to do that is if we have everybody's participation. So put a 1 in the chat if you're a great communicator. And you said something that was so profound, and it was about honesty. Honesty is the best policy. I know that's cliche for most people, but it's realistic for me, right? If you're honest, then you can see where you're at, and then you can get to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you're dishonest about where you're at, you can't see where you're at. So you don't know how to get to that next level. You don't know how to get to a better relationship because all of the blame is external instead of internal. And in fact, it doesn't have to be blame. It just has to be recognition. You have to recognize, right? Recognition is the key to it. So when I talk about those two components, I'm talking about communication and interpretation. Most people only look at that communication side, right? And they go, look, they put in the chat, I'm the greatest communicator. So they tell people what they want. They tell people, but guess what? It's two-sided. You have to also be able to interpret what someone is saying.
Yeah.
How can you do that? You have to know you, right? The more you get to know yourself, the more you get to know everybody else. I'm telling you right now, we're more alike than we are different. And I know this for a fact through just speaking and listening to people. We all have the same type of issues. Are you the only one, if you have finance issues, are you the only one in the world with finance issues? Are you the only one who has ever had a hardship with finances? If you lost your job, are you the only one who lost your job? If you broke up with somebody you truly love and care about, are you the only one? So let's just be real here. Most situations that we go through, we're not alone. All right. So realistically, the interpretation part is understanding and having compassion for what the other person is going through, because whether we like it or not, we play a role in whatever is transpiring in front of us. So if we have a relationship and a significant other is not showing up the way we would love that person to show up, we got a role in it. What's our role? Let's first look at what we have done. So the whole point that we're leading up to is that everything in your life is happening through you and not to you. And if it is happening to you in some way, then it's happening for you. See, because you are the star of your movie. You are the MVP of your life. But if you don't show up that way, then guess what happens? You become a background extra in somebody else's. So what do I mean by that? So you ever felt like not connected to your significant other? You ever felt like this person was making you out to be the villain, or making you out to be the person that's antagonizing? What was your role? Right? You gotta think about that. What was your role? What was my role in it? And the truth of the matter is, we gotta loosen up the grip, y'all. We're a little too tight on everything. We're a little too critical on ourselves, and we're a little too tight. Like, let's have fun, like let's have fun with this thing. So for you, like when you get these challenges in life, how are you dealing with them? How are you having fun with them? Let's say you go through a breakup, or you go through something that happened in the business, a down month, right? Like how do you embrace the challenge within that situation?
Yeah, for me, how I embrace the challenge is I try to take 5 minutes, to be honest. Sometimes I just have to talk about it. So I have my very close knit group of friends, and there are people that I say that I want to be petty. First of all, do you have capacity for me to be petty? Because I don't want to be Miss Personal Developed Sarah right now. I want to be excruciatingly human Sarah right now. And so they oftentimes will say yes, more times than not. They'll say yes, and I'll just share what it is that I'm thinking about. And inside of sharing, number one, I need to get it off on my chest. But I heard this quote and I really resonate with it, where it was, if you tell more than 3 people about the same problem, you don't want a solution, you want attention. And so for me, it was like, okay, I don't need attention. I just need to get this off of my chest. So number one, I'm going to speak it out loud. And then I'm really intentional about getting in a peak state, because what I know is, what we forget as humans is whatever we're speaking in the present is actually what we're perpetuating in the future. So if I'm pissed, or I'm stressed, or I'm unhappy, or I'm angry, or I'm disappointed, or I'm fatigued, or I'm exhausted, the thing about it is, not only are we speaking it, but oftentimes negativity, because it's so natural, will put feeling behind it, will put emotion behind it. And we don't attract what we talk about or think about. We attract what we feel strongest about. So when you get to a space where you're dealing with those hardships, I just reposted a story in my video last night. You know, sometimes we're praying to God about how hard our life is. Why won't you bless me? Oh, can you please just help me with this? And literally God is hearing lack, 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 lack. And God is going to give you more lack. God, the devil, the opponent, whatever you want to call it. We attract in what we feel strongest about. So for me, I'm very intentional about shifting my state. And what that looks like is, I play gospel on the loudest that it could possibly play. I'll shake it off inside of my house. I'll journal. I will, I'll dance. I'll cook. If you ever find me listening to music really loud, deep cleaning, love you, Dontel, good seeing you. If you ever catch me deep cleaning, oh, something is on my mind, because I don't clean. I have cleaners. Like, I don't deep clean anything. I'm very tidy, but I don't deep clean anything. So if you ever catch me listening to something, that's a form of release for me, right? So, I think that it's really important to find what your outlets are, and find healthy coping mechanisms, because we all have ways of coping. But is your coping alcohol, drugs, sex? Is your coping depression, sleep? Is your coping gossip, or whatever it could be? Can it be a workout? You know, can it be journaling? Can it be a walk in the park? Can it be laying in the sun to get some vitamin D? You've got to find what works for you.
Absolutely. Once again, these challenges are chances for you to show your greatness. These challenges are allowing you to become a champion. There aren't any champions without challenges.
Yeah.
So anytime you have an obstacle in your life, it's an opportunity. Like, if you're having a miscommunication with your significant other, it's an opportunity. Like, that's why I say, like, let's loosen the grip on the way that we are perceiving, because our perception gives the direction. You ever had an idea about your significant other or somebody you was dating or whatever, and that idea drove you to do certain things?
Of course.
It's because the thoughts create our reality. Our language create our reality, right? So when you talk about these thoughts in language, right? Language produces thoughts. Now, when you get these thoughts, you get beliefs. Beliefs is either an action, right? Happens out the belief, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't. Either way, it produces a result. And the result is our lives, right? So when we think about this, what I'm expressing is this: if you change what you say, you change what you see, right? And it goes both ways. When we change what we said about the significant other in the beginning, it was all love and it was all good. But as soon as we got that inclination that something might not be right, then what? We changed what we saw. We started seeing a whole downward spiral of everything that started taking place. And the reality of it is, we are the ones who caused that, because life is happening through us and not to us. So same thing with the finances. At this time, it's now 6:01 on Eastern Coast. What we want to do is we want to open up the floor for communication. We want to help you in 2024. See, we want to help you reach your goals, because we understand winning championships is about teamwork. You might be the only person in your family. You might be the best of the best. You might be the person who goes out for personal development, who joins mentorships, who's looking to self-improve. But guess what? You don't have your day ones with you. It's okay. Let's build some day twos, right? Sarah and I, we're going to be able to help you build and give you some type of tips, some tricks, anything that's going to allow you to have a breakthrough instead of a breakdown, right? So if you want at any moment, send a request to come up and just share 30 seconds or less. What have you been dealing with? Is there anything that's happening in your life, any obstacle that's in your way? And we're going to help you remove the obstacle. 9 times out of 10, it's usually us, right? Our enemies are usually our enemy, right? And I want to show y'all something. Once again, it's these challenges that create these championships. So let me share something with you. I wish we had the capabilities of sharing the screen like Zoom, but I'm gonna have to use my other camera. So give me a second, y'all. Let me show you this real fast. So when we're looking, right? So I use this app, Love Plus Transformation. One thing about this is it's helping. It has helped me already, but it's continuously helping me become a better version of myself, right?
Nice.
And it has helped hundreds of other students become the better version of themselves as well, right? So we understand that it's about becoming more so that way you can do more to have more. We already understand that. But most people do not realize that it's about the habits. Your habits dictate the quality of your life. So what type of habits are you doing? Right? What type of avoidance behavior are you engaged in? When you say you want a true relationship full of love, then are you loving yourself enough? Right? So I'll take these challenges, and when I take these challenges, I'm faced with doing the things that I run away from. Right? So how many of us got like public speaking fears? Right? Before I became mindset mogul, my heart used to hit my chest so hard. Look, I'm telling you, Sarah, you might not realize it because the confidence is on a million. But before, right, my chest used to beat so hard with just sharing my story. And this process of being able to speak no matter where I went, this transformed my life, and it helped me become the best version of myself. And now I get paid to speak, right? So anything that you want to do, right? Anything that you're going through. Let's say you're going through money issues. Money is the challenge of your life right now. What happens is you could break past these challenges because this app is an automated app where it will curate the programs for you to help you move past your current limitations when it comes to money. See, money is just currency. It's a frequency. Like what you experience frequently becomes your frequency. So the reason why you probably don't have the money that you want is because of what frequency you're tuned into. Whatever you tune into, you turn into. And I'm not just coming up here to give you bars. What I'm saying is I'm speaking, it's not as complicated as we make it. It's really simple. So the idea is this: whatever you're avoiding, you need to face, right? Whatever it is that you're avoiding, you need to face, because when you face those things, the person that you want to become is on the other side of that, right? So the same thing with failure, right? Failure is the cheat code to success. So when you get through what we call failure, you learn. That's really what happens, right? You learn. You get some value out of it. So for you, I want to know, like, what challenges have shaped your life when you seen it. You didn't know what the challenge was. You thought that this was punishment from God, or you thought that you were getting the short end of the stick, so to speak. But in actuality, it turned out to be a blessing.
Oh my goodness. I mean, everything that has ever gone wrong has brought me to where I am now. And so I think that is literally my perspective. Things go wrong so that life can go right. All things are happening for my good, even the bad. I was built for this, and this is all a part of my story. And so I live my life according to that. So when I do have these challenges that come up, I think about relationships. Like, I've been engaged twice. That could have rocked somebody, being engaged twice. Public humiliation, walking away from relationships again and again, and publicly, and going from being every, relationship goals, black love, power couple, like, no, but in reality it was toxic, right? So there's that aspect of things. I'm so happy that I allowed myself to be in my truth, and I trusted what God had for me, because I would not have been happy if I stayed in that position. Or I even think about the struggle, right? I think about how when I couldn't afford to pay my rent, when I was sneaking onto the back of the bus because I didn't have bus fare after my car crashed itself. I had to take 2 buses and a train to get to Hawthorne, California, so I could get trained up by my mentor at the time. It was 2.5 hours one way, 3 hours ride back. That built character. You know what I mean? Like that showed me. Now I stopped looking at God like, why is this happening to me? I'm not looking at God, why is this happening? I'm looking at God saying, no, how bad do you really want it? And so I feel like all of the trials, the tribulations, the obstacles, all of the things that have come up have been an opportunity for me to prove and show, how bad do I really want it? Like, do I really want it, or am I just talking about it? Because it shows up in your actions. Like you were saying, I strongly feel like no matter how excited you are about something, no matter how ready you even are for something, if you are not prepared for that something, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get, even if you are prepared, God, the devil, the opponent, whatever you want to call it, they are going to slap you off of that high horse. Life is going to come for you, and it is going to make you uncomfortable. It is going to hurt you. But I always think about the Black Cinderella, and that's the last thing I'm going to say. The Black Cinderella, Whitney Houston talked about, those things are like sandpaper. It rubs you and it hurts and it is uncomfortable. And you want to say, why is this happening to me? Why do I have all these scratches and all of these things? And as you grow through the process of the sandpaper, if you stick through it, you come out smooth and polished. And those circumstances, those situations, those obstacles, that sandpaper is worn out and raggedy. And the things that used to take you out, I promise you, you will laugh about later. And it's hilarious to me because, you know, my mom has this analogy. She says, I get emotional when I talk about my parents. So if I cry, please forgive me. But when I think about my mom, she used to say, there's going to be these things that are like torpedoes that hit you dead in your chest. And you're literally like, it takes your breath away, knocks you onto the ground. Like you literally feel like you aren't going to get through it. God, surely this is not for me. God, surely I'm being obedient. I'm doing the things right. And so if you have those things in your life right now that are like torpedoes coming to hit you in your chest, eventually those things turn into like little darts. You can laugh about it, like, yeah, okay, you might get a little poke here and there. But if you grow through and go through the process, it's nothing. You will laugh about it later. I heard somebody say that on stage one time, and I admit it's true. The things I used to cry myself to sleep about, I laugh at now. Like, okay, what else you got? What else is there? Like, try me. Like, I stopped saying why me and I started saying try me. You know, like let me show you. Let me show you how bad I really want it, God. Let me show you, okay? And I move in alignment, and it goes back to what we said in the beginning. You've got to know who you are. You've got to know what you want and only move in alignment with that. And to always remember, God doesn't deny a committed heart. That's not a thing. God does not deny a committed heart. Now it'll look different, I promise you that, but it usually is better.
Absolutely. Drop Yana in the chat. If you relate to Sarah, drop Yana in the chat. YANA, you are not alone. One of my coaches, Lisa, she used to tell me this, right? So just say, Yana, right? You're not alone in this. So I just want everybody to realize, before you can get to where you want to go, you got to see yourself getting through what you're going through. When I used to be sleeping on those benches at night where, you know, my hood of my North Face jacket was my pillow, right? I already knew I was going to get through those moments. I used to have to shower inside the gym in the AM. I already knew I was going to get past those situations. You got to see yourself getting through what you're going through, because guess what? This is not your final destination. Your final destination is not your current situation. Right. So things will get better as long as you get better. Life doesn't change unless you change.
Yeah.
Right? You got to understand, you are the cause and the matter of your life. You got to be the one that goes out there and shine your light. If you haven't followed Sarah, follow Sarah now. If you haven't followed myself, follow me now. We want to make sure you win in 2024. In order for you to win in 2024, you got to get yourself out the way. You got to move yourself out the way. I'm telling you, your dreams, everything that you want is a lot closer to you than you believe.
Yeah.
This is not some motivation. I'm just being transparent with you. This is not motivation. It's literally here. The fact that you're on a live right now with myself and Sarah, people who do big things in the world, create great impact, like you could be the next person if you aren't doing it already. Right? And once again, this is not about fluff. This is not to come to hype you up. This is not any of that. I'm just being honest. Like, as a person coming from Brooklyn, New York City, this is hard growing up where it was like gangland. Some of y'all know this, some of y'all don't. Losing my parents, lost both of my parents growing up. Went to 7 different schools in 9 years. Gastroesophageal reflux disease, right? 7 different schools in 9 years, still finished salutatorian, still finished student athlete of the year. Still finished 90 grade point average. I started out with a 65 grade point average. In New York City, 65 is 1 point away from failing. So understand that my whole life has been about triumph. Your whole life has been about triumph, but you probably notice the negatives. I want you to notice this thing. I want you to see the negatives versus the notifications. Sometimes, look, first of all, if I say anything that hits you and you resonate with it, put the M's in the chat, put in the chat, right? So I want you to understand, you got to see the negatives versus the notifications. Most of you see the negatives, what I can't do, why I couldn't do it, what I lack. You got to see what you have. You got to understand who you are. And guess what? the thing about it is, I told y'all before, you got yourself into this, to whatever situation you got, and you got yourself there. But you won't be the person to get you out of there. You need strategic partnerships. You need other people. It's going to take other people to help you get to where you want to be. See, the best thing I always love, and we're going to close up in like 15 minutes, y'all, but before, I'll always love saying this, right? You may not be where you want to be, but you're right where you need to be because you're not where you used to be. And you got to celebrate yourself. Like, you have to actually see and realize, damn, if I was on autopilot for all of these years, and this is the life that I created, I did a pretty damn good job. Now, imagine if I was to take my life to be more intentional. What could I do with it? Right? See, a lot of us, we say, I want a serious relationship. From this day forward, I no longer want you to have a serious relationship. Serious relationships end in heartbreak. Serious relationships end in stress. I want you to have an intentional, love-filled relationship. The only way that's going to happen is if you are that way. The other person is not going to complete you. And guess what? It's this thing, right? And it goes back to us winning these championships, right? Because 2021, that was like the year of personal development, getting better, a better me, right? A better you, right? Everybody was like new year, new me type of thing after COVID, right? 2022 was about being the star of your movie. 2023 was about being the MVP. 2024 is about these championships. The only way you get to the championships is if you realize that everybody around you is not competing with you. They're for you to collaborate with, right? See, you're competing with you. It's me versus me. It's you versus you. It's not you versus that person, you versus that person. You can't look at somebody's chapter 20 and compare it to your chapter 10. You got to see yourself as, okay, cool. How do I use what I have right here, right now to get to where I want to be, right? How do I use what I have right here, right now to get to where I want to be? And the way that you're going to do that is to connect with other people. So having conversations like this can transform your situation. Having conversations like this can change your compensation. Having conversations like this will help you transform your mind, right? So who are you around? And we talk about, if you're the fifth person, or if you're like the fourth person, like whatever they say, 4 millionaires in the same room, you become the fifth person, right? If you hang around them long enough. And the same for, if you're hanging around a bunch of broke people. The reality of the matter is, you have what you have because you are who you are. If you want better experience, you got to change who you are. If you want better experience, you got to become better. If you want more money, you got to become better. Like, everything that you want, the solution is within you. It's an internal thing, right? So I asked somebody to send a request to come up here and build. I didn't see anybody send a request, so I didn't pull anybody up. But we got about 15 minutes left, and we want to help you win in 2024. We don't want this to just be about us. Sarah and I, we're going to win regardless. Like that's going to happen. But you might be the person that's the best of the best in your family, and you don't have any other outlet. You might be the person that's going through a lot, and you don't have somebody to turn to. This is an opportunity, right? So we want you to send a request. We want to come up here and build, or at least drop into the chat. What things or which things are you challenged with that if you were to remove, it would take you to the next level? You might not be aware of how to remove it, right? Because you are where you are right now in your life because of the things that you do know, but you're not where you want to be because of the things that you don't know. So let's talk about some things that you don't know, so that way we can build, right? So for you, Sarah, too, right? What practices have you instilled to make sure that you get the most out of winning the day, right? Because if you're gonna win the life, you gotta understand it's about these inches, right? And before you get to your destination, you don't just drive straight to the destination, teleport straight there. You have to go inch by inch, road by road, right? So give me some things that help you win the day, that ultimately have helped you win the year, and so forth, that have helped you create a beautiful life.
I think I talk about this all the time. I start my day off with, like, I call it sonic ring, right? So as soon as I wake up in the morning, I open my eyes and I'm like, another day. And I immediately close my eyes. And I imagine like a sonic ring or a halo, like spinning around my entire body. And I literally imagine this ring going around my body, and I send healing, and I send peace, and I send joy, and I send prosperity, and I send favor. And I go all the way around my body, and then I close it around my feet in my mind. And I do the same thing for my family. And then I get up, I make a tea, I come back, I turn on a Baroque list. Well, it's not just Baroque music, but it's music with no words, like classical style, Baroque style. And I play that while I journal. and I journal, and I journal about how I'm so blessed, happy, and grateful now that, and I talk about my future as if it was yesterday. Like, oh, I went walking with my mom yesterday in the garden, and you know, me and my little baby, and we picked the cucumbers, and we did the this, and we did the that. And my mom noticed the new Delilahs, and they're wild. Why are they wild? You know, and I talk about that. I actually drink Herbalife tea with aloe and collagen. And no, that's it. 2 kinds of collagen, aloe and Herbalife tea. And so anyway, then I do that, and then I speak out rounds, right? And then I go to the gym. I have my workout. I come back. I shower. While I'm in the shower, I'm listening to gospel music. When I'm out of the shower, even putting on my makeup or doing my hair, I'm listening to a book. And so by the time my day actually starts, I am so reinforced, mind, body, spirit, that it's really hard to knock me off my game. Like, it's really hard for me to get upset about something. It's really hard for me to give anything my power, because I understand that I'm in control of me. But those are the things that I do. That's how I start my day off as much as I possibly can. I mean, I'm human. Sometimes I miss a day or two, but that's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, one thing you always throw that out there. You always throw the disclaimer out there, like, look, I'm human, so if I'm not doing it all the time, and I want to like highlight that, right? Put that as a point of emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be 100% at your best all the time, everyone. Just get that. Just understand that. This is why I say loosen the grip on yourself. Like, you're not going to always operate at 100% of your capacity. It's just not going to happen. So when you have a day, and first of all, I think this is built this way on purpose. It's designed this way. When you have a day that is basically like a setback, it's really just a setup, right? It's just really a setup, right? Because we get those days where you're like, damn, I didn't really do much today, but now we're motivated for tomorrow to actually be present and do the things we got to do, right? This is what keeps us going. Just like we have to take an L, right? When we're talking about going to these championships or having this championship year, you're going to take some losses. During this time, there'll be losses that elevate your life, right? It's going to elevate your play, because now you know, okay, cool. But all I got to do is make this adjustment, and then things are going to work out. So there is somebody who sent a request. We're going to bring you up. Yeah, Stormy Banks put in the chat, I missed the blonde. Yeah, I was saying that too. I was like, damn, she changed the blonde up on me. The blonde was
It'll be blonde tomorrow. You know, I'm always changing.
All right. So we're going to bring this guy up. Who's that, Joel? Let's bring Joel up. Let's just make sure we're respectful. And we got 30 seconds. We want to know, like, what things are you challenged with right here today? And let's see if we can help you. What's up, Kane? Oh, I think it's your Bluetooth. I think your Bluetooth is connected.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. All right, cool.
What's going on?
What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm all good. I'm all good. Good to see y'all, man. Y'all having a great conversation right here, man. And I just wanted to chime in or whatever. I mean, you know, far as the question that you asking, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what's really going on, you know, with myself, far as financial. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I have a lot of things that I work on, a lot of things that I got going on, but for some reason it's just like I just keep, you know, falling off of it. You know, I keep going from one thing to the next, and I don't stay consistent on what I'm doing. Like, I mean, I especially follow you, Sarah, on the Country Wayne skits and everything. You know, I root for you actually. Now,
Thank you.
I be like,
you're
Wayne,
one of not
Wayne,
many.
yeah. No, you the realest on there. Like, you, like, I'm like, man, put the ring on her finger, man. Wayne, chill out, man. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know, Wayne, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I just my first time meeting you, brother. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I do a little acting myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I got a IMDb.
Wait, hold on,
Whatever.
because we don't want to go past what you said. First of all, I'm
Yeah.
seeing you snap it up, clap it up for you, because you're doing some acting. You got some stats. I love that, but I don't want to skip past what's most important right now within your life, and that's that consistency factor. Remember how I mentioned earlier, right? I said language creates the reality. Sarah came up and said, I speak for the future as if it's the past. But you speak the future. I mean, wait, how did you say it, Sarah? Did I say it right, or did I say it wrong?
I speak the future as if it's the past. He's
Right,
speaking the present as if it's the future.
Right.
Okay.
And the issue with that is your language is creating that, right? You're saying, hey, look, I'm not consistent. So now that's the belief. The belief is I'm not consistent. So now you give yourself what we call a payoff, right? You make yourself right. Everybody loves to be right. So you give yourself what we call the payoff. And that's what we call your act. Your act is, as long as I'm right, then it's cool for me to not be consistent. And this might sound like a little hard. How explicit can I be with you? Because I just want to
go ahead. You can go in.
Okay. So I always want to have consent, everybody, because before we give somebody advice, we have to ask for consent, or before we do anything to someone else, ask for consent. So the truth of the matter is, King, the only thing that you truly got to change up is the way that you see yourself. You don't see yourself as enough. You see yourself as somebody who's less than. That's why your language is that way. And it's not your fault. It comes from the community that you're around. Because your intention shows otherwise, right? Your intention is, yo, I'm gonna make this happen, and you got this energy towards this intention, but you haven't really been around somebody who's been executing at that level to keep going. You only know just enough to start, you know? So you got to stay tapped into the community, so that way we can get you around people who are pushing you past your current limitations.
Yeah.
So that app that I was talking about, Love Plus, Sarah, can you put it in the chat real fast? LUHVPLUS.com, right? LovePlus.com. If you go in here, bro, this is a free app. You go on the website too. It's a free app. Any challenges that you're dealing with, this will help you overcome those limitations to push you into your destination, right? To push you in that ideal situation. But the biggest thing I want you to do is change your language, change the way you speak.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say this, man, because trucking is my baby. That's what I started years ago or whatever. So I did push myself to the limit with that. I got to the level where I was able to purchase a few trucks, and I had workers.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So I started a business of my own. But right after COVID and all of that, capitalism set in on my business. So it kind of pushed me out. Had to sell my equipment and move on to something else or whatever. But so what I really want, because my passion is acting. You know what I mean? That's why I'm up on every episode of Country Wayne. Like I'm I'm knowing everything about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm actually from the area where Wayne is from. We from like the same area. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like inspirational to see him go so far. Like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, this boy really doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? And I live in Atlanta, but I'm in West Virginia right now. I'm way out here in the mountains right now. But and I keep saying, like, I even met his brother Arby one time at a comedy club.
Yeah,
I met Arby, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't even say nothing to him, and we shook hands. I'm like, Arby, what's up, man? Like, I see you, whatever. But I ain't try to push it, or you know what I mean, to try to see if it was some kind of way that, so that's why I'm like, man, like, I'm like halfway with it, like, even with the movies that I have done, I haven't had no main roles or nothing like that, but I have, been, we got a movie coming out right now called Street Queens. It'll be on Tubi real soon or whatever, and my scene is like the first scene in that. They like me or whatever because I come in, I'm passionate, I do my thing or whatever, but it's like I don't take it as serious as I should, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to be a problem because everybody is saying that you got what it takes, but I don't know if I believe in myself or not.
So before I want to let Sarah chime in on this, and we're gonna let you go because we don't want to hold anybody else up.
For sure.
I'm loving what you're saying, and right now you're doing it in real time, right?
Yeah.
You're actually being the person that's speaking about what you truly want. That's number one. And sometimes we don't articulate ourselves to other people. All the money that you want to have is in somebody else's pocket. So you have to find a way to add value. It's just the truth of it. All the money that's in your pocket is not even yours. You're going to give it to somebody. So who are you giving it to are the seeds that you plant for the garden of your future. So all of the impact that you want to make is in other people's heart. So who are you making these videos for, right? So in all of the potential that you're going to actualize is going to come from other people. You got to start building a network of people, a team of individuals who can help you push this goal, right? So last thing I want to say to you is this. you got to be the MVP of your life. So if you
Yeah.
want to do acting, right, what you could be doing is, you said I could give you considerations, right? So what you could be doing is you could be targeting truckers, right? Because you've been a person that has been affected by the trucking industry. There's other
Yeah.
people who get affected by the trucking industry on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
right? Who may have to be let go or maybe lose team members, right? You could do your skits or your movies based upon that, right?
Yeah.
And shed the light on that because that's something that you love. You have expertise in it. And then if anything, somebody wanted to like understand how could they transition and pivot, which is something that you've done, you should probably write a book, or you should probably have some type of articles or something that you could provide some type of information or documentation that somebody can purchase, or you could just give for free to build a community. So there's tons of ways for you to actually add value because your glory is going to come from your story, but you got to start sharing your story, King. All right.
That's what's up, my brother. That's what's
100%.
up.
Hey,
Hey man, I
hey, yo,
appreciate y'all time.
100%. If we go let you go, but you mentioned that you
Nice
ain't
to
follow me.
meet
You gotta follow
you.
me,
Hey,
bro.
nice to meet you. Hey, one thing, how like if I did wanted to try to chime in on the like, what do I need to do
You got to be
to even get
in the
noticed?
same place at the same time and try to have a quick conversation.
Yeah,
Wayne is very,
that's
very
right.
much led by the spirit. He doesn't really,
For
and
sure.
he doesn't do his own social media, like he does, but he doesn't, So just be in the same place at the same time and have a conversation.
That's
And
right.
if his spirit is like, let's go, it'll be a let's go. And if it's not, then it'll be next time.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Well, hey, you'll see me.
I
You'll
believe it.
see
I
me.
believe.
Remember me.
That's the energy. That's the energy we want to have. Everybody just give some love to my guy, Joel, in the chat. Thank you, Joel. We appreciate you,
All right.
King. So real quick, Queen, before you go,
Mm-hmm.
just let everybody give some insight to that because he's not the only person, but he was the bravest person to say, you know what, I'm gonna come up there and I'm gonna share what I'm dealing with. Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully he did take some of those gems, but just kind of share your insight.
Yeah, I'm like my hair. I need to put a hot comb in my hair and like do like a because it's driving me crazy. But anyway, back to the thing. My insight is the reason why people struggle with worthiness is because they say things that they don't really believe. In fact, most times people believe in the lack and the negative far more than they ever believe in the optimistic and the positive. And so for me, I believe that belief breaks down into 5 really simple steps. That's a repetitious thought, creates your awareness, creates your evaluation, creates your action, creates your progress, which gives you a newer and higher level of awareness. Well, what does that mean? It means that if you think about something enough and then you reinforce it by putting feelings behind it. That's why they say put the pictures on your wall, put the pictures on your phone, write it down on your mirror, whatever it may be, so that you're constantly thinking about it. And then you've got to pause and practice feeling it. If you see yourself accepting that Academy Award, if you see yourself, starting that trucking business, if you see yourself having a worldwide selling ebook, based on breastfeeding, I don't know, whatever it may be, you've got to see it. And the more that you see it, what you're doing is you're creating more awareness around it. Guys, our brains literally work like a radar, like a submarine back in the day. Anything that was in proximity that would show up on the radar, it was like doop, and it would show you exactly you've got to expand your radar. I always use the example of, if you your entire life have only ever been taught about a map of the United States, as old as you are today, you've only ever seen a map of the United States, and then you get around entrepreneurs and they're talking about fulfillment, and they're talking about peace, and they're talking about success, and they're talking about millions of dollars in teams and all these things, and that feels like Japan. First and foremost, you're not going to think that it's real because you've only ever known about a map of the United States. But the truth is, inside of your version of success, your version of your best you have to expand the vision of what you know is possible for you. So what does that mean? 2 things. Number 1, it means sometimes the people that love you the most, they support you the least. And it's not because you're incapable. It's not because they don't believe in you. It's because they're trying to keep you safe in who you are. They too have only ever seen a map of the United States. And now you're over here talking about Japan, and they're like, baby, that's not real. That's for them over there. That's overly saturated. You're never going to make it. You sound crazy. You really think we need one more trucking business, right? The people that love you, they're trying to keep you safe in who you are instead of seeing you for who you could be. So once you have that awareness of what it is and you're thinking about it and you're practicing feeling it, like, how does your hair look? What are you wearing? What is the weather? Where are you? You've got to see it. You've got to feel it. And then Reverse engineer it. I love how Sean in like 3 seconds was literally like, you could do you could write a book, you could have a course, you could do an ebook, you could teach, you could write skits, you could do whatever you want, all based inside of the world that you do. If you know that your big goal is to get here, reverse engineer what is necessary. Okay, well, the first step is I want to do skits. I'm going to batch shoot, which means doing it all at once, 5 different skits in one day, and I'm going to release 5 skits, one skit 5 days out of the week. Or I'm going to batch shoot 25 skits in a matter of 3 days, and then I'm going to release the next 25 days of skits, right? So whatever it is that is your goal, reverse engineer it so it doesn't feel as big. Because sometimes being like, I want to win an Academy Award, or having that ultra successful trucking business, or whatever it is that you're most excited about, that might be really big. So you have to reverse engineer it and take those baby steps. And then when you get into action doing the baby steps, okay, well, if I can do 1 skit, I can do 2. If I could do 2 skits, I could do 5. If I could do 5 skits, I could do 7. If I could do 7, I could do 10, right? And then what starts to happen is you increase your belief because now you have progress. I'll tell you guys right now, I love that Chris is on here. He's one of my directors for our podcast, It's Giving. And inside of It's Giving, you know, it's really wild because we're doing really well on Instagram. We're doing really well on TikTok. We're starting to really grow on Facebook, but we have not mastered YouTube. Do not be what is it called? Do not despise small beginnings. That, like Sean said, your story is what is going to create everything great inside of your life, right? And so now I get to share the story of, yeah, okay, we monetize on YouTube in 2 months. Yeah, okay, we monetize, but the subscriptions aren't there. I'm still fighting to get views from y'all, you know, so on YouTube anyway. So you've got to not be discouraged by the result. Don't get attached to the end result. Get attached to the process and your progress. And one day you look up and it's like, oh my God, I'm here. I did it. It's done. So that's what I would say. Belief for me is an action word. It breaks down into 5 simple steps. The more progress you have, the more you believe, the more you believe, the more you think about bigger things. And then all of a sudden you look up and your whole life is a complete 180 from what it used to be. And I just want to say this on a complete aside, y'all, we got to stop saying, oh, they did a complete 360. That means you're back where you started. Okay, 360 is a total circle, which means you're back where you started. If you're trying to say that you have done a complete growth version from who you used to be, from who you were, it's a 180. That's on the complete opposite side of the 360-degree circle. 180 degrees is on the opposite side of the starting point. So I just had to throw that out there because me and my girl were laughing about that. Folks be really saying like, oh, I did a whole 360. It's like the there, and there conversation. Right. Anyway, oh, you're so kind. Thank you. But yeah, so anyway, that's pretty much all I got.
You gonna give him the cash app,
No.
Sarah? Yeah, so look, first of all, I appreciate that. And I appreciate every time you speak because you're one of the few people who totally make sense in a simplistic way.
Thank you.
Right? Like, it's not about being complicated. Once again, y'all, we are overcomplicating every single thing. We want to simplify our success. The way to do it is to see yourself already getting through what you're going through. Understand you already have the solution. The key thing is this, though. You have to partner with other people. That is it. It's not some mystical illusion. It's not some type of thing that is a secret, right? There aren't any secrets to success. There are only systems. And the number one system is to find your tribe. Number one system is to find people, find an environment that can truly help you grow. So one of the things I love talking about is your income is related to your relationships, right? So the relationships that you have produces the income. First of all, if y'all love this type of conversation that Sarah and I are having with you all, drop a 1 in the chat. If y'all love what we're having, drop a 1 in the chat. If you haven't followed me now. If you haven't followed Sarah, right? Because we want to continue to build a community full of love, connectivity, financial prosperity. You just might be the next partner that we partner with. So just understand, your biggest challenge is overcoming your mind. It's just overcoming your mind. When I talk about turning your annual income into monthly income, it's just a challenge to overcome your mind. Like in this day and age, 1 income is not enough. If 1 income is enough, let me know in the chat. Put a 0 in the chat if 1 income is not enough. Put a 2 in the chat if 1 income is enough. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know. We want to build. We don't want to be up here talking to ourselves. So Sarah, whenever you got to jump off, jump off. Don't worry about sticking on. I just want to deliver as much as I can to everybody. So
I do have to jump off. I'm 7 minutes late, but I love what you're doing, Sean. I just want to say this. I know that you have something really amazing coming up, and I love your heart for helping people. I love that you are just a no matter what for helping people really change their perception. And just like you see inside of me, always willing and able and ready to help people get out of their own way, and that is such a superpower. So I want to say thank you for this work that you do on the planet. Thank you for the way that you show up. Thank you for the love that you bring, the knowledge that you bring, and all of the things, the skill set that you have on top of that is amazing, and you're teaching people how to do the very same thing. So just thank you, thank you, thank you, and we'll do another live.
absolutely,
And follow
thank you.
him,
I appreciate it.
y'all. If y'all came from me, make sure click that little arrow on the top. Point to that arrow, Sean, above you. That
You're
little
talking
arrow.
about
Yeah,
this one
click
right
that
here,
little
y'all.
arrow right there and make sure that you are following the faces that you see on that screen. If the button is blue, make it white. You will get value, 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 value. So make sure that you are following this man. He is super dope, has all the gems and the motivation and the inspiration, and more than that, the skill set to teach you how to do the same thing. So I love y'all, and thank you, Sean.
100%. Thank you, Queen. Appreciate you. Everybody send some love to Sarah in the chat. Look, y'all, before we close up, I want to let y'all know something. So Sarah was alluding to this whole space of turning your millions, or turning your annual income into monthly income. So drop the word millions in the chat. If you want access to the class, drop the word millions in the chat. If this year, 2024, is your $1 million year, drop the word millions in the chat. Because as we go, look, I want to let y'all know something. You are your greatest limitation, but you're also your greatest strength. What does that mean? It means you get to decide to take your life to the next level. Once again, this is about partnerships, y'all. This is about partnerships. Man Faith put billions in the chat, big B's, right? Look, if this year is your $1 million year, if 2024, you're going to turn it up another level, drop the word millions in the chat. So understand this before I go, y'all. There are three stages to dominance within this 2024 championship year, right? In the championship year, right, we're going to win so much. But the first thing you got to do is you got to become a student. The second thing you got to do is you got to have systems. The third thing you have to do is you have to be able to sell. Most people do not want to sell. They think selling is doing something to somebody, but selling is doing something for somebody. Selling is a service. So you have to do something for yourself. The first person you have to sell is yourself. You got to sell yourself on why you can do exactly what you set out to do. And I'm here to help at least 20 people. 20 people turn their annual income into monthly income. If you want to be part of the 20 people that I help personally turn your annual income into monthly income, and I mean strategic, look, I'll show you real fast. I got some strategies, right? I'm going to break down this whole pie chart. Basically, this is like a mind map, right? And it's called Foundational 5. You got to have an affiliate. This is the easiest thing to acquire. This is selling something that already exists. Then you can go over, once you learn this here, only take about a month. Could take you a week. Could take you a day, depending on what you're selling. Then you go ahead and get an anchor. From the anchor, we get assets, we get upsells and investments. If I had affiliate, my affiliate is funding. If I get 3 people funded, I get them access to $100,000 quicker than their job could pay them or faster than they could save it, I'm going to get a 5% return on that, right? So I make $5,000. I get 3 people funded. That's $15,000 already. You can do the same exact thing. This is how I started, right? This is how I started with affiliates. I was getting people funded and I was doing credit repair, but I never did a thing. All I did was refer them to my partner who took care of them. We have the relationships and resources. You can do the same exact thing. With no money down, you can end up making $92,000 a month with no money out of your own pocket. All right? You have an affiliate. So after you understand how funding works, you could put together a program, which is something that I've done, put together a program to how to teach you how to get funded. I got 5 people in my business that 1 month, and I made $50,000 in that 1 month. From there, I upsold them. They said this program is great, but I want something for long term, for life. Made a course. You do not have to make a course. There's tons of things that you can do that I will help you realize that you can do. From out of those 5 people, all 5 people purchased the course at $3K. I made $15,000. $15,000. I said, okay, cool. We need to get some assets. We got an IUL policy. Dropped $50,000 in the IUL policy from what we created here. And then I took some money out to get an investment. I had a partner. The investment was real estate. We did a fix and flip. We got $20,000 a piece. I mean, $20,000 total. We got $10,000 a piece. You add that to the pot. Where we at right now? We're at 90,000. So this is what I started to realize the whole time when I took my money out my IUL. Just it was basically accruing interest, right? It was accruing interest. So the money was growing as if the money was still in there. Once I got the money back from the fix and flip and all stuff, I reinvested, put it back into my IUL. I created what we call a SaaS product, system as a software. And I was only charged, remember, this is happening in 1 month, y'all. And I only charged $3.99. Yeah, only charged $3.99, right? I gave them a discount, $100 off. Only 4 people bought out of those 5 people, made an additional $1,200. Even if, look, even if none of these things make sense to you, right? Even if you just had great credit, let's just say you had great credit, you can utilize your credit to make you money. So I'll break down this whole formula on a simpler way, right? So if you had good credit, let's say you had a credit card with $10,000 balance, right? Or $10,000 line of credit. And then let's say it had 20 years of history or 10 years of history. Either way, you could charge anywhere from $300 to $700 per card for somebody to use it. So I use that and I ended up making an extra $2,000 a month. So even if you don't use any of this, any of these other things, and you got great credit, you can utilize your own credit to start helping you make some cash flow, right? And now let's say you don't have great credit. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is sell an existing product. We already have the people to help you sell those products, right? We already have that. You don't even have to look for it. We already have that. One of the things is funding. If you get somebody funded, you get a percentage. The percentage that we got was 5%. You might get 3%. If you get 3% and you get 3 people funded, that's $9,000 if we get them $100,000. So just letting y'all know, like, in reality, anything that you want to do is absolutely possible. Any and everything that you want to do, it is possible. The key to it is having strategic partnerships. And that's what we're going to teach you, how to build strategic partnerships and also give you the game that's going to elevate your life. Put in the chat right now the word millions if you want to tap in. Put in the chat right now millions if you want to tap in. I'm getting ready to close up this live. So if anybody want to join, anybody want to send a request to come up and build, come up and do it now. If not, we're going to close out. I will be doing another live at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time today. All right. Once again, drop the word millions in the chat if you want to take your life to the next level. I'm out of here. I'm Mindset Mogul. I'm the guy that's going to help you take your mindset, turn it into a tool set to create those cash flowing assets. I'm out of here. Peace, love, and beautiful energy. I will see y'all next time. Peace.